Hello everyone, welcome back to Trek A Day. Just finished watching episode 7 of Lower Decks Season 4, A Few Badgeys More, where we have a triple threat, not to mention the still mysterious attacks on vessels throughout the quadrant, opening with an attack on a Binar ship, which is really funny because very recently I finished reading a book from the Enterprise line, talked about how the usage of the binars, and that was really good, and they're one of the few things from season 1 of TNG that I thought really worked, and I wish that they would revisit, and here we go. So that was pretty funny to see. Tendi and Boimler are sent to Earth regarding the possible parole of Peanut Hamper and the possible knowledge gained through Jeffrey Combs' evil supercomputer, who I absolutely love his performance. 2 episodes he's been in so far, as he might have some information regarding these attacks, as Starfleet is still pretty much in the dark in regards of who this could possibly be, why they're picking certain targets, and I like that aspect because it continues and wraps up some storylines from previous seasons. And it's good to see when that happens and we can move on from that. And, Jeffrey Combs, always fantastic, thought definitely worked as the diabolical sentient computer, and also his playing off of Peanut Hamper and Peanut Hamper's rehabilitation. And Peanut Hamper I was fine with in this episode. That Peanut Hamper is a character that I've said before I found to be annoying. Just never really clicked with me. It's a character very similar in the style and humor to something like Badgey, but for some reason Badgey, within the context of the way this show is put together, works for me, even though it's a character I normally would find annoying. But for some reason Badgey works for me in general. Peanut Hamper, normally I just don't really enjoy, but Peanut Hamper was fine in here and it worked within the context of the story and their initial planning to betray everyone and escape, and however that plays out worked very well at giving these characters actually a little bit of development and a bit more of I think really a conclusion for Peanut Hamper's story and Peanut Hamper's rehabilitation. I don't think we'll see much more of Peanut Hamper in the future. And that gives us our little bit of information, our tidbit of information to keep kind of little breadcrumbs throughout the season of what is happening with these attacks, this mysterious ship. I still hold that I think it's only going to be within the last 2 episodes that we really get some answers, and it's more of a final 2 episode confrontation. We find out that these ships are not being destroyed, they are being stolen. Whether or not that gives us some clues as to who might be behind this. So I like what they're doing this season by making you could call Big Bad, the big threat, not necessarily continually in the forefront of every episode, keeping the episodes very episodic and confined, but having that little story thread in the background through each one, slowly building up. I like the way that's structured. And then we also have the issue with the return of Badgey, as Badgey's original corrupted implant is picked up by scavengers, and Badgey takes over their ship and decides to attack the Cerritos. And I like how that played out because it made sense with Badgey, and I like the solution and the splitting of Badgey's many personalities in different parts as Rutherford tries different methods to stop his creation, including some fun nods to some Trek tropes of the past, trying to use logic to overcome the supercomputer, that old trope, especially from TOS. And I like when they slip little bits of humor in that are referential to previous Trek stuff without being just a blatant nostalgic moment. It actually is kind of funny and works, and also isn't demeaning of the trope. So I thought that worked very well. And we end with the ascension of Badgey. We'll see if there's ramifications for that in the future, or if that's just sort of wrapping up that, version of Badgey and getting rid of that plot line. We might never see him again, or that could come back in sort of a Q capacity to be a funny issue. So overall, I just thought that every little element of this played well. Nothing overstayed its welcome, or neither plot was overwhelming the other. I felt there was a good balance between both parts of the story. And it turned out to be just a decent, strong episode that wrapped up a few plot lines from further episodes and continues the plot for the underlying issue this season, and kept the humor in a realm that was funny and a bit outrageous, but never too extreme or ridiculous, and these characters that could be obnoxious were not. I think everything was toned in well, so I think it was a very successful outing.